Hey Bat fans, Luke here, back with another video, and life has been full of changes lately, and I'm not going to go too far in depth into what's really going on, nothing bad or anything, but I found out recently that I will be moving, and we started the process to make our move to our next place, and got all that stuff settled out, but what I did do is take the opportunity to, since we're kind of in transition, to take a trip up to Pittsburgh. And while I was there, I got some reading done, and then, of course, stopped by New Dimension Comics and raided their dollar bins and came out with some good stuff. So, but while I was there, I just kind of got motivated to do a video when I got back and kind of pick one of the books I read and kind of talk about it. And that's why we're going to take a look today at Batman Elseworlds. This is Volume 1. There's actually 2 volumes in this series that's been released so far. This one, obviously, it's a little bit thicker. And then we have the second volume, which is Elseworlds Volume 2, which collects a lot of the Doug Moench and Kelly Jones stories. It deals a lot with also what you see in the cover. The Batman vampire stories you see, like Batman Dracula, Bloodstorm, Crimson, all those good stories. But we're not going to look at that one today. We're going to take a look at this one, because I do have some thoughts on it. And after that, let's see if this video isn't going too far, we'll kind of look at some of the bad issues I picked up when I was at Pittsburgh. So I'm kind of doing this one-handed too, so I apologize for any of the camera moving. But yes, Batman Elseworlds Volume 1. Really thick book. It took me a while to read. Couldn't really do it all in one sitting. Maybe not only because of maybe just the sheer volume which you read, but some of them, the stories I did kind of had to trudge through, which kind of goes into a little bit some of the criticism I had behind it. But this collection here costs about $35, which again, in hindsight, how much you're getting, it's a lot, because there are a lot of stories in here. To be fair, there are a lot of stories. You get Batman Holy Terror. I got Batman the Blue, the Gray, and the Bat. Robin 3000, number 1 and number 2. And then you also get Batman Dark Joker, the Wild. You got Batman Houdini, the Devil's Workshop. Batman Castle the Bat. Batman and Darkest Night. And then Batman Dark Allegiances. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 9 stories in here. I believe it was 9. Yeah, 10. Okay. But 10 stories in here, so $35. That's not too bad. But that said, going into this book, I'm not going to go full on in depth on each individual story because it would just take way too long. But just kind of thoughts on Elseworlds stories and Batman. I think Batman lends to good potential Elseworlds stories because just basically the character that he is and his background built on tragedy, and just not only that, just how it's kind of built, but in addition to just how his mythos has been along these 77 years now, I think. So there's a lot of material, a lot of history there that you can kind of play with and tinker with in an Elseworlds environment, because just the way Batman is, to be considered canon, there's a lot of having a lot of history it's a double-edged sword. So you really can't go too far to the left or right with mythos and what we consider canon in news stories, because there's so much history. But that said, since there's so many things you can do, that's where you get these Elseworlds tales that you can kind of go and visit some cool aspects of the Batman character without tying yourself down to the shackles of continuity and what's considered canon. But that said, it doesn't give, I think, free reign to allow writer or creators to kind of just use the character, even though it's in an Elseworld setting, and just go too far to the left or to the right. And I think you see the good and the bad of Elseworld stories and Batman in this story, in this collection. Because, I mean, there are some that they went left or right to the extreme, but kind of kept in the context and the back character, and then there's a couple in there that just went way kind of just off. But I will tell you, I will quickly kind of talk about each story, and may or may not even show the pages of it. Again, just kind of keep this in check. But Batman Holy Terror. I enjoyed this story. It dealt with what if, I mean, this is back in a long, I almost want to say, in the beginning of the nation. So we'll call it, didn't really say, we got a flag. I'm going to call early 1800s. Very early 1800s. Maybe that's not even, it doesn't really say. I'm just putting in context of what you see. It's definitely got like the early feel of the early part of the country. So you see American flag. So yeah, just for safety's sake, we'll call early 1800s. I'm like 1800, like shortly after Revolutionary War, if not late 1700s, like to the very end. But this story deals with obviously the murder of Thomas and Martha, and what if Batman became a priest and he used the inner circle as a priest to kind of solve the murder of his parents? Because you see here, actually, his parents were actually part of this religious circle that may or may not have orchestrated their death. So it kind of has sort of like the Court of Owls type of a plot, but in point of context, again, early America, and the religious influence that obviously had in society, and how Bruce would become, going in through the priesthood, and also as his day job, and the night job, using the character of the Batman to solve the crime. It was good. The art, the panel layouts really did remind me of like the Dark Knight, Frank Miller's run, but the art was okay. This story, I think, was one of the better ones. I really did enjoy it. I'll hold off to kind of racking and stacking all the stories, but this one was good. I liked Gordon in this. He's kind of like the constable, but it was a very good story. If I had to rank it out of 5, I would give that one, I'd give it 3.5 out of 5. It was really good. You even get little cameos of members of the Justice League. See Flash here. It was really good. It was a good story. Really did enjoy it. The next story, not so much, if I remember correctly. I think I was, which is kind of weird because I was reading, I was like, man, this is like right down my alley. Because I'm a huge Civil War, I'm not going to consider myself a Civil War buff, but as a historian, I really did study a lot on the Civil War. And I do like to read Civil War books, stuff just on Gettysburg and all the. I'm not going to bore everyone with the history lesson here. It's not why we're here. But I thought for sure this was going to be right down my alley. This one, Batman, the Blue, the Gray, and the Bat. And basically what this story is, Lincoln sends Thomas Wayne, becomes one of his lieutenant colonels, to kind of go out to Nevada and kind of quelch all the crime that's going on there and try to see if he can get Nevada into the north side. And it did. It did work out that way, but in doing so, comes across as late. It was, to be honest, this is one of those ones where they kind of went to the extreme, and it was not really executed really well. Bruce's character was rough to read. The dialogue was rough. The art it had its moments, but it just didn't feel like the right context. Robin was this said R, so I'm assuming that was obviously Dick Grayson, not Tim Drake. But to be honest, it was just the setting wasn't right, and it's just was off. Um, you do see him use the kind of like the persona as the Batman to kind of quelch the rebel fight. To be honest, it wasn't good. To be honest, this is one I kind of suffered through, which is a shame because I thought for sure this was going to be right down my lane, and to be honest, it really wasn't. So this one I give like a 1.5 out of 5. It really wasn't that good at all. And unfortunately, I think the trend kind of continues with the next story. This one being Robin. I'm going to lump them together. 3000, part 1 and 2. Basically what happened is that a descendant of Bruce Wayne, I think it was actually considered his great-grandfather, and his great-grandson, I guess, is battling this local society. Not something like a local society. It was a group that claimed to save the Earth from this plague that was happening, but they actually orchestrated the plague. If you read Batman Year 100, if you read that, it's sort of like that. This is kind of like forward in time, but this one you can clearly tell this wasn't Bruce Wayne. And with this interaction with this character, there was Robin going up against this group, and again, it wasn't that good. And not only that, it was 2 parts and they were long. It was one I just had to suffer through too. I like Batman Year 100. This one was just a little too much. I didn't like the art very much at all, to be honest. The colors were just really weird. And all in all, it just really wasn't a good story. And to be perfectly honest, didn't really come to a good finite ending either. See if I can just go through it. It was, if I had to describe this was Batman Year 100 / Batman Beyond, right after the events of Future's End when Tim Drake became Batman Beyond. He was going to get like kind of rebuilding. The world was rebuilding almost to, I don't want to say like Earth 2 Society because that's a little too far. But yeah, I would say DCU Batman Beyond / Batman Year 100 just pushed to the extreme. And to be honest, again, it just fell off. It really wasn't a Batman story. This was sort of a more Robin-centric story. Kind of goes up with his mutant too, but I'd give that one a 1 out of 5. Those 2 stories combined, it really wasn't that good. This one was awesome. Batman, Dark Joker in the Wild. This one was awesome. And this one I know this is not the only place you can get this story. This story it's available in trades on its own, and rightfully so. This one was just really good. And basically what we have here is Joker is kind of like this demon and is going around, not really like a demon. He's more like a warlord / wizard. Yeah, we'll put it that way. And first off, needless to say, the creative team on this was Doug Moench and Kelly Jones. And I always said with Doug Moench and Kelly Jones, their run on Batman, it just really had a really good horror flair to their stories. And this one was one of those ones that was just great. Again, Joker's kind of like this warlord wizard type person, and he's going after this town. Not really a town, it's kind of like a village. And he's going after this artifact that basically gives him more power and control over something that can kind of pull him back. But in doing so, he encounters this village, which is kind of like its protector, which is Batman, but Batman's not really like a bat. Batman is, well, he's not like a Batman, he's like a bat. But it's such a cool twist on how the story was done, was that Thomas and Martha actually had two children, like we kind of hint at in Court of Owls. But this one, the first baby, Bruce thought when he was growing up, after his parents died by the hands of the Joker, the first one died and was like a miscarriage, whatnot. But basically what happened was that when Bruce was born, they needed to do a sacrifice, Thomas and Martha, to bring him to this type of being that he could be. But this is not the first time they did it. They did it with the first child, but the first ritual was botched, and which you were led to believe that the babe was thrown out the window and died. But it turned out to be not the case. That turned out to be Bruce's sister, and Bruce's sister's coming to this village, kind of give warnings of the Batman coming and whatnot. I'm not going to go too far in depth, but basically what's going to happen is that Bruce needed the ritual to be complete, the sacrifice to be complete. And the sacrifice was going to be when he was born, that Thomas and Martha were going to basically kill themselves, so made Bruce may prosper. But basically all it needed to be was the bloodline, the relative. And basically what happens in the story is that Bruce's sister sacrifices herself, and doing so completes the ritual. And it's an epic fight between Bruce and Joker, and just, not even Bruce, Batman to the nth degree. And it was awesome. The art, the colors, the panel layouts. I have a thing with Kelly Jones in the Batman ears. I got it, but this was so good. Man, it was executed greatly, and it was great. I give this one, in context of it, just awesome. I give this a 4.5 out of 5. This one was really good. And again, you can get this story in this trade or this collection, but I know I've seen this one on its own, in a book on its own, and it's such a good read. Joker was just demonic, evil, and just great. And again, the art was just awesome. It was a good finite ending, and yeah, it was just Kelly Jones' arts in this was just phenomenal. Again, 4.5 out of 5 on that one. Batman Houdini, The Devil's Workshop, one that really surprised me. The art, I can't remember the artist's names in this, but if you remember the story, Batman, when the Night Cries, kind of had like that painted type art feel to it. You get that type of style in this story, in that it takes Houdini and Batman, or Bruce Wayne, teaming up, which initially you think it's the Joker, but it's going up against this individual who's basically a vampire who is kidnapping all these kids in the local community and basically eating them. Basically what it is. It's really a dark tale, and it really does hit to the detective aspect with Bruce, combined with the magical flair and deception of Houdini. So you really get that really good vibe to this story. And again, it was really dark, and I just love how the art really did just really fit the story to a T. It was a really messed up story. I mean, the kids, you don't see them get killed or anything like that. It's not that extreme, but it's done in a way that you get what they're saying, what happened. I mean, obviously he said, yeah, I ate them, but it's hinted at in context and not done just for shock value. It was really good. Again, I'm not going to go too far in depth other than saying this is another one of those good ones. I give this one a 4 out of 5. Again, the art was great, and I just love the pairing with Houdini and Bruce in this. It's just their style and their characters just meshed so perfectly. Batman Castle of the Bat, another great one. Art, again, kind of like that painting style we've seen before. And basically all this is, it's just a take on Frankenstein. I can't remember. This is Bruce kind of being like Dr. Frankenstein, and he actually has Gordon, his little hunchback, his little sister. But basically what they do is they take the brain of Thomas Wayne, and due to this chemical that's made available, like formaldehyde and whatnot, but basically regenerates body cells and whatnot. And it's really nothing more than a take on Batman with Frankenstein. But Frankenstein obviously being Thomas Wayne, who later becomes the Batman. it was awesome. I mean, the art was great. Again, really accentuated the story to a T. Really fit it, and it really was a good twist on the Mary Shelley classic. It was awesome. Um, I give this one a 4 out of 5. It was good. I was pleasantly surprised, and I just really did enjoy the art too. And it was a good tale. So if you really like Frankenstein and the old classics, that one it just fits like a glove. Batman and Darkest Night, I was kind of on. Basically, it's what would happen if Batman became a member of the Green Lantern Corps, and he is the protector of this sector. Which blah blah blah. What number did they give him? God. To be honest, I'm not really a big Green Lantern fan, and 2/8 something blah blah blah. To be honest, yeah, it was not more than a take of Batman becoming a member of the Green Lantern Corps, and then members of the Justice League come back to the end, and it's basically a fight with Sinestro. To be honest, I'm kind of bored with it. Again, not really a Green Lantern fan. The art was okay, probably put in context at the time it was released, but really wasn't all that enthused with it. It was kind of like the best page in the whole story right there. But other than that, it was meh. 2.5 out of 5, and I think that's being really lenient. But yeah. Then Batman Dark Allegiances, it was just weird. Basically, Batman going up against this government sect that just really... You're seeing pictures of KKK, Ku Klux Klan members and Nazis and Joker. You're not going to get... I'm not going to go too much further into that. To be honest, it wasn't good at all. Another one I was just bored with. 2 out of 5. The art had its moments. Story was this is like early Hitler before he kind of went off the rocker. It's kind of set in time. We'll call this kind of like during the initial rise of the Nazi Party in Germany. So yeah, again, this one, it was a 1 out of 5 story. To be honest, it really wasn't all that good. So as we were kind of going through these, you heard a lot of 1 out of 5, 1.5 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5, 4, and a 4.5 out of 5. It's a mix, to be perfectly honest, and it's kind of tough to recommend this one. Overall, in context, I think I'd only give this like a 2.5 out of 5. I think, unfortunately, the stories that are really good, and the ones that are bad are really bad, and you got an average one. It just kind of cancel each other out. At 2.5 out of 5. Would I recommend it? To be honest, unless you're a hardcore Batman fan, probably not. I think you can probably focus your efforts in main Batman stories. For the Batman completionists out there, yeah, I get it. But it's just... It really does. This is for the Batman fans. This is for your aficionados, the hardcore, the dedicated. It's just... But it's average. Don't want to end it on a bad note, but it's... You get a lot of value in it for $35, but unfortunately... This one, on the other hand... A little different story, but we're just talking about Volume 1, so... Anyway, not going to end this on a bad note. Let's go ahead and do some Holy Bad issues here. Bonus. Again, New Dimension Comics, love that store. I'm just going to breeze through some of the books I got. If you're ever in the Pittsburgh area, you got 5 stores to go to. And I'm not plugging them just to plug them. I mean, this is my hometown bookshop. I just love them. You got them in Elwood City. That's the main branch. You got them in Cranberry, Century 3, Butler, and you got them in Pittsburgh Mills. And a guy named Todd, he's a good guy. Really does got a really good selection. And again, every time I go there, dollar bin diving and coming out with some great stuff. So some of these I didn't get in the dollar bin. I'll tell you which ones I didn't. Like this one right here. This is Detective Comics. This is issue 477. I think, if I remember correctly, this was the story after the Laughing Fish. I can't remember if Englehart did this one or not. Can't remember. That's some shitty glare, but it is what it is. See, that one, I'd pay like $4 for it. Not bad. Dollar bin, going on to Detective Comics. This is issue number 637. I'm going to see if I can maybe swing around and get some non-glare action going on here. Is that a little better? Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah, so I got Detective Comics, issue number 637. This one by Louise Sampson, Jim Fern, and Steve Mitchell. I got issue number 640. This is the Milligan Jim Aparo issue. Love Jim Aparo art. Gonna snag this up every single time I get a chance to get it. Got issue number 641. Alan Grant and Jim Aparo. And oh boy, Alan Grant. Just really, he's a criminally underestimated Batman writer. Just awesome dude. Got 645. This is Electric City Part 2. I cannot remember what I did with Electric City Part 1. I think I might have left it at the dang counter. I'm a dumbass. But Chuck Dixon pen issue. You know it's going to be winter. Continue on with Chuck Dixon. You got issue number 651. I absolutely adore this cover. I can't remember who did this cover, but it's awesome. Not a fan of the Detective Comics banner, but I just love that cover. Staying with Dixon, we have issue number 653. This is Graham Nolan. Not a fan of, to be honest, the Batman design and the Huntress design. They look really big. We'll just kind of leave it at that. Chuck Dixon penned issue. This is issue number 654. Dig it. Like the green sky. Then we got issue number 697. This is Chuck Dixon with Graham Nolan. Obviously with a Batman-centric story. Or, I'm sorry, Two-Face. Did pick up Batman and Robin issue number 13. I think I'm only missing 2 more issues in the first volume of Batman and Robin by Grant Morrison. I think 2 or 3. I think that's just one. It's just I gotta have it completed, have them all in trades. But this one's great. This one, if I remember right, this is part of the trade. Batman and Robin. Batman Must Die, if I remember right. I think this is volume 3, third trade. No, I can't remember. Gotta look up. I know this is definitely the third trade. So coming close to that. This one, I have it, obviously, but this is a third printing. I figured, why not? This is $1. Oh, yeah, buy this one. This wasn't $1. This was like $3. This one for $1, I grabbed it up. Third printing of Batman Incorporated issue number 8. Obviously, the death of Damian Wayne. Going into Batman annuals, I get them if they're okay, if it's a good deal. This one for $1, I wasn't going to pass it up. This is annual number 13. A whole bunch of people in this issue, so figured why not. I can't remember if it was Tim Sale cover or not. Definitely the Batman design definitely has the Tim Sale flair to it. Got issue number 425. This one, Jim Starlin, Mark Bright, and Steve Mitchell. Just a classic Batman. When you get into like the 400 and the 300, it's just the Batman stories was just classic. Just a little bit hard to get your hands on sometimes at a decent price, but love it. Part 1 of 3, The Many Deaths of Batman. This is issue number 433. I actually had the trade in my hand when I was at in Pittsburgh. Byrne, Jim Aparo, DeCarlo, great team on this. I kind of let that one go. I'll get it at some point, but classic Batman there. Issue number 443, this is Marv Wolf and Jim Aparo. Cover here. Anything else, it jumps off the stands because that is some flamboyant yellow. The political climate today with Russia. Okay, issue number 445. Marv Wolf and Jim Aparo. Gonna jump on Aparo every chance I can get with issue 446 as well. Same creative team going on that. We go to issue number 455. This is Alan Grant and Norm Brayfogle. Again, Grant, just a criminally underestimated Batman creator. Continue on with Grant Brayfogle. We got issue number 458. The Hunchback. Can't remember his name. But yeah. Brayfogle. This is issue number 459. The Mask of Zorro. With Bruce. Or Batman, I'm sorry. Just awesome. Going in some Night Quest. Got issue number 504. I am jonesing on Nightfall, Night Quest, and Night's End on the single issues. I'm gotta be kind of close, but I'm still hunting them down. To be honest, I think I only have a couple more to go. This is number 507. Doug Moench and Ballant. Going into Night's End Part 1. This is issue number 509. Doug Moench. Obviously, we had Moench, who was the main writer on the Batman title, and then we had obviously Dixon doing detective. Moench with Manley on the Kevin Kelly Jones cover, obviously. Batman, at this point, they're all pretty much Kelly Jones. During the Nightfall saga. This is issue number 510. Got Prodigal Part 5. This is issue number 513. Prodigal, a great story. It's hard to get your hands on unless you get the new Nightfall Volume 3 trade. I think I had Prodigal part of it, but Prodigal, technically the first time Dick Grayson becomes Batman, goes up against Two-Face in that story. Great. Larry Hama, Scott McDaniel, issue number 577. It's McDaniel. When I criticize McDaniel's art, because sometimes it gets Batman, it looks good, or sometimes you get like the pointy, blocky design. This is an example of the pointy, blocky Batman. War Games. This is Act 3, Part 8 of 8. This is 633. War Games. I got the new printing of the trades, and I might review that. War Games, that's kind of a mixed bag for some. Some people like it, some people not so much. I kind of like it. I know Batman's a little too far to the extreme in it, but still, that might be one of the next ones I read or review. All right, it's Jock, so you know I'm going to pick up Jock every single time I can. Jock cover anyway. 649, Jug Warnick. Can't remember what part of Under the Hood this one is, but I'm going to snag that up. I gotta really do like another top 10 Batman artist countdown. I did one like kind of like the New 52 era. Might kind of expanded it like all time, but Jock, he's up there. I love his art. Batman's awesome. Batman, this is issue number 657. Definitely not a dollar one. I think this is toward the tail end of Batman and Son. Or right in the middle. I think it's right when he was actually in the Batcave and he has his fight with Tim Drake. And lastly, Batman. This is the New 52 run. Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo. This is issue number 7. This is a variant. I'm really kind of cutting it close to how many more variants I have for the Batman New 52 run. I think from like issue number 10 and above, I'm only missing like 2. But the problem is once you get down below the 10 during the Court of Owls, the variants are kind of expensive. So, I mean, I have 2, I know, 7, I think 5. So I might have like, I might be like halfway there between 1 and 10, which is not really a big deal, but it's the ones that I'm missing are kind of the expensive ones. But saw this, picked it up, so that's just one of my little other hunts I'm doing, just getting all those New 52 variants, which I'm cutting close. At least one variant, not all of them, but get the main cover in one variant, so kind of close. So anyway, that was my Batman hunt down there, Pittsburgh. Great time as always. So anyway, yeah, just bear with me. Kind of go through this transition, get ready to go to the new place. Maybe do one more video before I leave here. If not, next time you see me, we'll be in the new place. Cranking a video there. So anyway, hit me up in the comments below what you thought of, if anything else, not normally necessarily those Batman books, the single issues, but what you thought, if you have read it, and see if what our opinions are the same or not, of Batman Elseworld Volume 1. So hit me up in the comments below, we'll bat chat about it, and go from there. So until next video, take care.